Namaste, yogis. We will do a shorter flow class, which is perfect for when you're pressed for time or just happen to have a little bit of time and you feel like you would like to get a nice flow practice into that time slot. So anyway, I will just mention before we start that it will be a very dynamic vinyasa class, so we will work a lot with linking the breath to the movement, and there won't be any long holds. So in the first half of the class, pretty much we're moving non-stop and taking each pose for one breath. So try to stick with it, and it's sort of guaranteed to get the blood flowing. So let's start right away. Straight into Ardha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And now, like I said, we're going to be moving all the time, but to begin with, we will settle into down dog pose, just to sort of gather our attention and stop a bit to begin with. Bring ourselves into the moment at hand. So make sure, looking back at your feet, if you're taller, make sure that the hands and feet have quite a bit of distance between them. Looking back at the feet now, make sure that the outer edges of the feet are parallel to each other or parallel to the long edges of the mat. Also make sure that the arms are nice and straight, not putting any strain onto the elbow joints. The same goes for the legs, making sure the legs are nice and straight. The shoulder heads are pulled back towards the sacrum, towards the low back, towards your butt, and the crown of the head is dropping, neck is long, so there's space on both sides of the neck. The tailbone is curling under just a bit, so you feel like you're getting this nice elongation of the spine. Essentially what down dog is about is this sensation that the bottom of the spine is being pulled upwards and the tip of, or the top of the spine, sort of the neck area, is elongating towards the floor. So essentially it is a back stretch. And when you've found, or when you've covered all these key points, also make sure that the ribs are pulled towards the spine a bit. The same goes for the navel. And make sure when you're breathing now that the navel point is moving. So you are indeed engaging the diaphragm and the breathing muscles here. And then when you've found all those key areas of the pose, then you can pedal the legs a bit to settle in, especially if it's morning and your body is stiff, hasn't woken up yet. So do the necessary here. This is your own practice. This is your sadhana, so make sure you're doing whatever is relevant to your practice. If you don't need to pedal the legs, you can just stay still on Ardha Svanasana and focus on your breath. Fix the gaze as well. So you see, right away we start using certain techniques to bring ourselves onto the mat, into this moment, get ready for the practice. And if you haven't already, then turn on the Ujjayi breath now. I highly recommend that you use Ujjayi breath for this class. It is a vinyasa class, but if you don't want to, or if you don't know it, or if you don't prefer it, then you can also just stick with long, even breaths. Few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, inhaling, lifting onto the tips of the toes, look between the hands or even further forward. And then exhale, begin to walk towards the top of the mat, bringing the feet to touch at the top of the mat. Inhaling, hands to the shins, flat back, look forward, shoulder heads are pulled back away from the earlobes. And exhale, knees bent or straight, drop the head, Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Bend the knees a bit deeply now. And then inhaling, coming up through a nice hunched back. Lifting the shoulders to the earlobes. Exhale, rolling them back and dropping them. So now also immediately begin to connect to this nice alignment in your standing posture. Curling the tailbone under, dropping it towards the floor, opening the chest and elongating smiling the collarbones open, making sure that the chin line is either parallel to the floor or the tip of the chin moving slightly towards the floor to elongate the back of the neck. And the spine is nice and long without any compression. Arms are resting at the sides of the body. Close the eyes for a moment now. We'll just do this to gather our concentration. Maintain your alignment in the standing posture. Eyes are closed. And try to keep the Ujjayi breath going. Now, direct your concentration towards the sound. Make sure that the focus is found. And then when you're ready, you can open the eyes. Inhaling, lifting the arms, palms meet, stretch upward. Exhaling, bending at the hips, dropping the head, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, looking forward, flat back on the fingertips. Plant the palms, bend the knees. Exhale, step the right foot back, then the left foot back, or you can jump if you want to. Inhaling here, exhaling, Chaturanga Dandasana, or bring yourself to the floor, and then inhaling, roll into Cobra or upward facing dog. So I'm giving you options. Exhaling, down dog. This is not a beginner class, so hopefully you know which options are best suited for you. Inhaling here, exhaling here. So we're taking one breath in down dog. Then when you're ready, inhale, step the feet together, lift onto the tips of the toes, look forward, bend the knees. Exhale, step the right foot, then the left foot forward, or jump forward. Inhaling, flat back, looking forward. Exhaling, dropping the head, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhaling, standing up, arms move above the head. Exhaling, Anjali Mudra, pulling the palms back towards the chest. Second round, inhaling, opening the arms again, perhaps looking up. Exhaling, dive forward into the fold, Uttanasana. Inhaling, looking forward on the fingertips, planting the palms, bending the knees. I'm stepping with the left foot now. You can jump if you wish. Inhaling here, exhaling, bending the knees towards Chaturanga or all the way to the floor. Inhaling into your back bend. Exhale. Ardha Parsvakonasana, downward facing dog, just for one breath. On your next inhalation, stepping the feet together, inhaling, lifting onto the tips of the toes, bending the knees. Exhale, stepping the left, then the right, or jumping. Inhaling, at the top of the mat, looking forward, flat back. Exhale, release the head towards the shins, folding. Inhaling, palms meet above the head. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. Last round, inhaling, opening the arms, palms meet. Exhale again, diving it forward towards the folded position. Inhaling, looking forward, planting the palms, bending the knees. Exhale, stepping or jumping to chaturanga. Inhaling, lifting into your back bend. And exhale, pull it back to downward facing dog. Take one deep breath here. We're not going to jump forward, but start with the sets now. So when you're ready, lifting onto the tips of the toes. Inhale, right leg moves up and back, look between the hands. Exhale, step it through. And we're moving into second warrior. So pivot the back foot to become almost parallel to the short end of the mat. Inhaling, opening the arms to the sides, bending into the front knee. Looking over the front fingers, the right fingers. One breath here, inhaling, exhaling. And then when you're ready, reverse it. So stretching back and stretch the right arm over the right ear. Inhaling here, exhaling here. And then inhaling, lifting out. Exhaling, dropping the fingertips, right fingertips to the right corner of the mat. And then inhale, ardha chandrasana. Lift towards the half moon position. Stretching the left arm towards the sky, making sure that the pubic bone is moving towards the navel. Exhaling, dropping the left palm and then stepping it back, chaturanga dandasana. Inhaling, looking up through the back bend, and exhale, pulling it back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, inhale, lift onto the tips of the toes, left leg moving up and back. Exhale, step it through. And exactly the same thing on the other side. So inhaling, lifting towards second warrior. On your next inhalation, stretch the arms to the side. Exhale, bending into the left knee. One deep breath here, making sure again that the pubic bone is moving towards the navel. And then left knee stays as bent as ever. Inhaling, reverse the warrior. Left arm stretches over the left ear, looking up perhaps. Inhaling, coming out of it. And then exhale, drop the left fingertips and push yourself into ardha chandrasana. Inhaling, extending the right arm towards the sky. Again, pubic bone moving towards the navel point. And then when you're ready, exhale, dropping the palms, stepping it back through the vinyasa. Inhaling into your back bend. And then exhale, pulling it back towards down dog. Let's take one deep breath here. And then again, when you're ready, inhale, right leg lifts up and back. Exhale, stepping it through. And now pivot the left foot so that the left toes are facing 11 o'clock. And then when you're ready, you can leave. We're not even gonna sort of stand up, but you can just make sure that you're stable on your right fingertips. Keep the right knee bent, and we're moving straight into parsvakonasana. So just pull back the right hip as much as you can without losing the bend in the right knee. And then inhaling, stretch the left arm over your head. One deep breath here. And then drop the left arm for a little while and simply straighten the right leg as much as you can. We're moving towards Uttita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. So stretch the left arm towards the sky and look up towards the fingertips if it's accessible to you, if it doesn't bother your neck. Deep breath here, and then exhale. Plant the palms, step it back. Inhaling, looking up in your back bend. Exhaling, pulling back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. On your next inhalation, left leg lifts up and back, look between the hands, exhale, stepping it through. Same thing, pivoting the right foot, bending the left knee, make sure you're stable on the left fingertips, and then pull back the left hip without losing the bend in the knee. Inhaling, stretch the right arm over the head. One deep breath here. And then exhale. Drop the right arm, straighten the left leg. Inhaling. Uttita Trikonasana. Extending the right arm towards the sky, looking up if it's possible. One deep breath. Exhaling. Drop the palms and step it back. Inhaling into the back bend. Exhaling. Downward facing dog. One deep breath in the dog position. And then again, when you're ready, inhaling, lifting the right leg up and back, exhale, stepping it through. And for the last set, again, we're moving towards the warrior 2 position. So stand up, you can straighten the front leg for now. We're going to do what is known as a dancing warrior. So essentially it consists of parsvakonasana and reversed warrior. So whenever you're ready, you can extend the arms to the sides, exhale, bend the front knee to 90 degrees, or at least close to 90 degrees. And whenever you're ready, on your next inhalation, every time you take an inhalation, you reverse the warrior, so stretching the right hand or the right arm over the right ear. Inhale here, exhale into parsvakonasana. Inhaling, stretching it back, reversing the warrior. Knee stays bent all this time. Exhale, parsvakonasana. Last round. Inhaling. Knee is always bent the way it is, or the same way. Exhaling. And then you can just turn yourself to face the front of the mat, stepping it back through the vinyasa. Inhaling into your back bend. Exhaling, downward dog. When you're ready, on your next inhalation, left leg stretches up and back. Exhaling, bringing it between the hands. And again, moving towards the second warrior position. Inhaling, extend the arms. And exhale, bend into the front knee. And when you're ready, inhale, reverse. Exhale, parsvakonasana. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, parsvakonasana. Second one, last one now. Inhaling, reverse. Exhale, parsvakonasana. Plant the palms, step it back. Inhaling through the vinyasa in your back bend. Exhale, ardha mukha svanasana. And now, let's take a quick child's pose here, dropping the knees. And then releasing the forehead to the floor. You can stay in down dog if you prefer. Hopefully you can feel that this dynamic first half of the class has gotten your juices flowing a bit. So try to find a way to restore in this child's pose, knowing that you can't stay here. We don't have too much time to sort of relax. So try to activate this ability to rest optimally using very little time. And usually I find that the best way to do that is to slow down the breath, take charge of your breath, and make sure the breath is not only slow but very thorough. So the deeper the breath, the easier you will, or the the better you can access your pulse, your heart rate, your blood pressure. So essentially, of course, one of the aspects of yoga that we learn through practice is self-control on many levels, right? So when you're ready, exhale and bring yourself back to downward facing dog. If you weren't there already. And then inhaling, lifting onto the tips of the toes, bend the knees, step or jump to seated. And then let's do a seated sequence now. So we will begin with chandrasana, head to knee pose, on the right side. So bring the right sole of the foot against the left inner thigh, and you can have the right knee drop to the side, making sure the spine is nice and long. Exhaling, folding the forehead towards the left knee or the left shin. And we take 5 breaths. When you're ready, inhale, lift up out of that pose, and we're moving on to marichyasana A. So lift the right knee, and you're placing the right leg onto the right foot. So now grabbing a hold of the right leg, wrapping the hands around it, inhaling here, straightening the spine, exhale, dropping the forehead again towards the left knee or the left shin, and 5 breaths. We're still keeping the ujjayi breath. On your next inhalation, you can release the clasp of the hands and come out of the pose. Now, shift yourself up and onto the right shin. So we're going to do ardha hanumanasana. I have to move back a bit so to make sure that you see me. And then moving back onto the right shin, inhaling here, make sure that the left toes either pointing towards the face or away from the face, so activating the foot, making sure the hips are aligning. Inhaling here, flat back, exhale, bend the knees, release the head and the spine towards the extended left leg. Ujjayi breath, nice deep cycles of breath, 5 of them. One more deep breath wherever you are. And then inhaling, coming out of it. So just simply sit back down, and we're going to switch sides. So chandrasana on the left side, bending the left knee, bringing the left sole of the foot towards the right inner thigh, extending the spine here, exhaling, folding the forehead towards the right knee or the right shin. And again, of course, you can bind the hands around the foot if it's accessible for you. Of course, as usual, in asana, especially vinyasa practice or Ashtanga vinyasa practice, we are always working with the gaze, so make sure you are fixing your gaze in each position as well. Keeping the concentration, cultivating dharana. And then when you're ready, inhaling, lifting up. That might have been more than 5 breaths. And then marichyasana A, so step onto the left foot and begin to bind, wrapping the arms around your body and then clasping the hands on the back of the body. Inhaling here, exhaling, releasing the forehead towards the shin or the knee. And again, work with the gaze, work with the breath. So although we're holding these poses short for this class, you still like that, you know, it's a certain ability also to be able to, in such a short time, find your focus, find your breath, engage yourself so fast for such a brief moment that it shouldn't be underestimated. It's a whole different kind of ability to do a quick, short practice. Inhaling, lifting out of the pose, and then again we're going to shift towards this ardha hanumanasana setup. So shift yourself onto the left shin this time. Again, you can keep the toes tucked or untuck them, yogi's choice, and making sure the right foot is engaged one way or the other. Hips are aligning. Inhaling here, flat back, looking forward perhaps. Exhaling, releasing the head and the spine, fixing the gaze, and breathing deeply. And although it might be intense, try to find a way to enjoy the stretch as well. So, you know, all these little techniques, all these little details that I keep discussing, they are so essential to a yoga practice, because that's what gives it content. That's what gives it meaning. That's where the philosophy pours into real life, pours into your practice. So we're not just doing a workout here. We're not just, you know, toning our muscles and reaping the fitness benefits. But we're also trying to work with our minds and so on and so forth. Inhaling, coming out of the pose. And then sitting back down. You can either step back to down dog, or you can jump back to down dog. So whichever works best for you. You can take a vinyasa in between if feels like you want to. And then eventually moving back to downward facing dog. Now when you're ready, inhaling, right leg moves up and back, look between the hands, exhaling, bending the right knee towards the chest, and then straight into virabhadrasana variation. So what is known as a pigeon pose. So again, of course, this is up to you now, how close you want to bring the right heel to, how close to the left hip do you need to bring it. Of course, if you're fairly flexible in the hips, you can have the right shin almost parallel to the short end of the mat. Inhaling here, and then exhale, release into the pose. You can release the chest, you can release the forehead even. And again, working with the gaze, working with the deep ujjayi breath. One more deep breath wherever you are. And then when you're ready, inhale, push your upper body away from the floor. And now, if it's a part of your practice, we will do hanumanasana, Lord of the Monkeys pose, or splits. If it's not part of your practice, then I'll shortly show you the alternative. The alternative is that you can support yourself on forearms and tuck the left toes and sort of lift the hips a bit, and then just simply unwind the right foot and then extend it sort of diagonally. So you'll still get a nice groin stretch here, and then you can just release towards the floor any way you want to, or you can stay on your forearms. So this is kind of like a sort of semi-yin stretch here. And I won't show this variation on this option on the other side. So keep it in mind if there's no way that you have a hanumanasana practice, or if there's no way you want to try it or whatever. Otherwise, from pigeon pose, push yourself up with the help of your palms, and then just straighten the right leg in front of you. Inhaling here. You can stay upright or you can fold. And let's take 5 breaths. Whichever pose you chose is fine. When you're ready, you can just, again, supporting yourself with your palms, inhale, lift up, and then sort of slide the right foot back to downward facing dog. Inhaling, left leg lifts up and back, look between the hands. We're going to do exactly the same things on the other side, so setting yourself up for pigeon. Inhaling here, and then exhaling, releasing towards the floor if that's accessible. And again, deep breath, fixed gaze. And of course, same goes here. In a fairly intense place, try to find a way to enjoy the stretch and enjoy being where you are. The only thing that matters is the moment at hand. And when you're ready, you can lift your torso. And again, we're moving into hanumanasana or that variation, other option I showed you. So do whatever is relevant for your practice. Sliding the left leg forward, inhaling here, and then staying here for 5 breaths, or exhaling and folding. Making sure that both feet are engaged, fixing your gaze, of course. And performing deep breathing, deep ujjayi breathing. If you're using ujjayi. And then when you're ready, you can lift yourself up, inhaling, pressing the hips away from the floor, and exhale, sliding the left foot back towards downward facing dog. So now then, we will take a quick break to do a back bend, and I haven't really prepared a specific back bend for this class, but I thought that it's best if I just say that perform a back bend of your own choice for 5 to 10 breaths. So it can be anything. It can be even, a simple cobra pose if it feels right to you. It can be upward facing dog for 5 to 10 breaths. Or if you want to, it can be an inverted back bend. It can be upward facing bow pose, virabhadrasana. So starting now, let's just do a back bend of your choice. I myself will do virabhadrasana, and I won't even do it from standing. So I will start on my back. And then lift up into it. Perhaps straightening the legs. And then whenever you're ready, you can come out of your back bend. And in your own time, find your way to a seated position. Extend the legs in front of you. We're moving towards the closing sequence now. So let's start with parsvakonasana. Inhaling, lifting the arms, stretching the spine. Exhaling, folding over the legs. Any variation with the hands. You can grab the toes, you can simply place the palms on the floor, or you can bind the fingers around the feet. Let's take 5 nice deep breaths. And in keeping with this winding down tendency, of course, the slower the breathing, the better. Now we're getting very close to corpse pose, Shala. So you can already begin to prepare yourself for this sort of a resting mood. One more deep breath wherever you are, letting the air touch the backside of your body, the spine, the organs on the back, the kidneys. And then when you're ready, you can lift out of parsvakonasana. And then we're moving onto our backs. And let's start the supine sequence with some twists. So cross the right knee over the left knee, and then exhale. You can drop both knees to the left. Make sure that you're shifting the left hip right under the right hip, so the hips are stacking. And then turning the upper back onto the floor evenly. So I probably say this every time I teach this pose, but it is essential to this pose that rather than having the knees touch the floor, it's more important to have both shoulder blades sinking into the floor evenly. That's what essentially creates the deeper twist around the waist. We're still keeping Ujjayi breath. If you had it going the entire time, then don't stop it now. And then when you're ready, inhaling, lifting the knees back up and switch the legs. So left knee crosses over the right knee. Exhale, drop the knees to the right this time. And then again, shift the right hip below the left hip. So stack the hips here. And again then begin to unravel the pose by pressing both shoulder blades into the mat, into the floor. You can release the legs as much as you can here. Few more cycles of Ujjayi breath. Feeling the twist around the waist. And then when you're ready, inhaling, lifting the legs up to the center again. Now, lift the knees towards the chest and then grab a hold of the soles of the feet. We're moving to Ananda Balasana, happy baby. And now you're not only pulling the legs down, or you're not only pulling the soles of the feet towards the floor, but you're also actually pressing against the palms with the feet. So there's this mutual force thing happening. And that in turn enables you to press the tailbone deeper towards the floor or further down towards the floor. Making sure also that the collarbones are nice and long, so you're not sort of, hunching the shoulders up towards the ceiling, but you're releasing them. This is a lovely supine hip opener. Pulling the knees as much towards the armpits as possible. Let's take one more deep breath. And then exhale. Release the feet. And drop the feet to the floor for a second. Last pose before savasana is hanumanasana, plow pose. So roll the legs over your head. And you can wrap the palms or clasp the palms. And just breathe here, making sure that you're not jamming the tip of the chin into the chest, but rather by using your legs and your toes, you're actually rolling the chest itself closer to the chin. So the chin stays kind of neutral. Of course, fixing the gaze as much as is possible for you. And in hanumanasana, we're supposed to be supported on this very bony vertebrae on the neck, in the cervical spine, the C7 vertebrae. So if you feel like some bone some bone in the neck is really digging into the floor, then you're actually in the correct position. Don't get discouraged. Few more deep breaths here. And then you can release the hands and you can begin to slowly roll out of the pose, rolling onto the spine. One vertebrae at a time. And then extending the legs. Turning the palms to face the sky. Close the eyes. And on your next exhalation, open the mouth, sigh it out, releasing Ujjayi breath. You can softly close the mouth. And we're no longer engaging our throats to perform Ujjayi breathing. So just forget all about breathing now and return to this automatic, natural breath of yours. Eyes are softly closed, lids resting on top of each other. Bring your awareness to the heels and as you touch the area of your heels with your awareness now, notice how the heels begin to release and loosen up, becoming heavy, sinking into the floor. Your awareness moves up towards the calves, and your awareness releases the calves, loosening this area as well. Awareness is moving towards the buttocks and the upper hamstrings. And you can feel how this area is loosening, releasing, relaxing, becoming heavy. The pelvis is dropping towards the floor more and more. Your awareness moves into the backs of the hands. And immediately this area begins to drip and release towards the floor as well. Palms, fingers, knuckles, hands overall becoming heavy and loose. Awareness is moving up the arms, into the forearms and the elbows. And your awareness releases these areas as well. Arms becoming heavy. Your awareness is moving towards the shoulders now. And you can feel tension leaving your shoulders and shoulder blades. Upper back releasing nicely into the floor, resting, rejuvenating. Your awareness is moving up towards the back of the head. And you can feel how your skull is getting heavier, more relaxed. The brain is dropping towards the back of the head. And the weight of your head is releasing into the floor. It's supported by the earth.